Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuhu. A pleasant day to each and everyone. Sorry for the late upload of this and discussion of this lecture, no? So this will be the first electrolyte imbalance na part po ng ating final coverage. So let's talk about the second na intracellular cation, which is your magnesium. So magnesium is the second most abundant intracellular cation. So after the potassium, which is the most abundant sa ating intracellular, pangalawa po si magnesium. And it is the fourth most abundant mineral in the body. Now, magnesium, di ba kasi abundant siya sa intracellular, so mostly ng kanyang mostly ng distribution ng ating magnesium, 99% nasa ating bones, muscles, tissues, okay? Around 50 to 60% nasa bones and teeth siya, and then 40 to 50% nasa muscles and tissues siya. And then yung 1% niya, kasi 99 yun siya, and then the 1% is nasa ating serum or sa blood, which is yung extracellular fluid natin. Now, only 1% of total magnesium is found in the blood, and most in bones, again, muscles, soft tissues, and extracellular fluid. So, the normal serum magnesium level is nasa 1.5 to 2.5 milliequivalent per liter, or you can use 0.7 to 1.25 millimoles per liter. Now, ano po yung trabaho ng ating magnesium? First, so this is a major intracellular cation which is essential for neuromuscular transmission. Actually, your magnesium is katulad po siya ng ating potassium sa kanyang function. Also, pareho din siya sa ating calcium. So, it also useful for muscle contraction, specifically lahat po ng three types ng ating muscles, the smooth, skeletal, and cardiac. So, nakakatulong din po siya sa pag-activate ng mga iba't ibang enzymes in about more than 300 actions in our body. And it also helps in ATP production and carbohydrate metabolism for your DNA and RNA synthesis, no, which nakakatulong po siya for pag po nagkakaroon ng duplication with your cells, no? Pag nagkakaroon ng reproduction, okay, mitosis and meiosis, so kailangan po ng increased production of your DNA and RNA, so nakakatulong po ang ating magnesium. Sodium-potassium pump function, kasi dahil ang ating sodium-potassium pump is found in the muscles, so nakakatulong po siya, no? In accepting or receiving signals para na-open or na-close yung channels natin dyan. And regulating your calcium and potassium balance. Now, let's talk about what happens if nagkaroon po ng mababang magnesium sa blood or hypomagnesemia. So again, it is defined as serum magnesium less than 1.5 milliequivalent per liter. Now, what are the common causes po ng ating hypomagnesemia? So we have first is GI losses. So pag ang problem po talaga is your gastrointestinal tract, this includes chronic diarrhea, which is very common po sa mga patient natin with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. So this too actually is problem with your small intestine and large intestine. So nagkakaroon po tayo ng malabsorption problem dito, in which sorry for the message, no? So in which nagkakaroon po ng problem with the absorption of specific nutrients, and kasama na po doon yung ating magnesium. So we have NG, suctioning, no? Pag too much po yung pag-suction natin at wala sa oras, we have vomiting and malabsorption syndromes. Now, for renal losses, pag po nagtitake ng mga loop diuretics and thiazide diuretics yung patients, mga antibiotics such as aminoglycosides, amphotericin, and cisplatin or cyclosporine, and also if meron pong uncontrolled diabetes. Bakit po nangyayari yun? Kasi remember, di ba, we have 3 P's ng ating diabetes: polydipsia, polyphagia, and kasama po ang polyuria. Now, because of too much na pag-release natin ng or diuresis or ihi ka ng ihi, so definitely nagkakos po siya ng renal losses, including those specific na mga important na electrolytes natin, which includes your magnesium. Okay? So, another is, pag-decrease yung intake natin. Let's say, if nagkakaroon ng alcoholism. Bakit po? Ito po yung pinaka-common talaga na pag-decrease yung intake. Kasi, usually kasi, yung mga alcoholics kasi, they tend to cause increased diuresis, in which yung mga natetake nila ng mga electrolytes is nasasama din, nawawash out din siya kasama ng kanilang renal loss. And then, malnutrition or starvation. Another is if nagkaroon ng shifting, no? Kasi sabi nga natin, as part of normal compensation ng ating body, para po na normalize natin yung imbalances, nagkakaroon ng shifting. Pero pag sumobra po yung shifting, doon na po tayo nagkakaroon ng problem. So, example lang natin, if nagbibigay tayo ng insulin therapy. Remember, di ba, sabi natin, which is the same ito sa ating potassium, no? Nakakatulong po ang insulin para maipasok yung mga specific na electrolytes, specifically your potassium and including yung magnesium. No, pag sobra-sobra po, no? So, nawawala yung 1% na serum magnesium na pupunta sa loob kasi we permit the pagpasok ng ating mga magnesium. Another is refeeding syndrome. Ano po itong refeeding syndrome? So this is a potentially fatal metabolic disturbance that occurs when a severely malnourished person begins nutritional rehabilitation. Ito po yung nangyayari pag yung mga malnourished na tao is bigla-bigla mo na lang i-feed ng mga specific na mga pagkain. And dahil syempre nasana yung kanilang katawan, na-tolerate nila yung katawan na wala silang natitake in ng mga vitamins, and then bibigyan nyo sila. So parang medyo hesitant pa yung body na i-absorb talaga lahat. So ang nangyayari is nagkakaroon ng metabolic disturbance. And then we have also associated disorders if nagkaroon po ng hypocalcemia and hypokalemia. Diba, as mentioned ko nung preview sa ating calcium, no? Yung ating calcium, if natin yung relationship ng ating calcium at magnesium, so medyo magka-same sila. Kaya po yung mga problems natin, pag mababa yung calcium natin, somehow nagre-reflect din or nagko-cause din ng pagbaba ng ating magnesium. And then, hindi katulad ng ating phosphorus, pag mababa si phosphorus, may tendency na tumataas. Mababa si phosphorus, yes, tumataas naman si calcium. Pag naman mababa si calcium, tumataas naman si phosphorus. So, they're inversely proportional. Hindi katulad dito na rated sila na pag bumaba yung isa, bababa din yung isa. Now, what are the clinical manifestations seen with clients with hypomagnesemia? So, nagkakaroon po ng neuromuscular symptoms, which is very, very common. Kasi nga, as mentioned, nakakatulong po sa ating muscle contraction ng ating magnesium. So, we have muscle tremors, hyperreflexia, tetany, positive trovastic and trosu signs. So, this is the same with your hypocalcemia, no? Yung nagtatap tayo ng ating facial nerve if nagkakaroon ng twitching, and then yung pag-use ng BP cuff, no? So, I hope hindi nyo pa yan siya na nakakalimutan, no? We have your seizures and paresthesias, or yung tinatawag nating tingling sensation or numbness. Okay? So, for your cardiovascular, nagkakaroon ng tachycardia, hypertension, or nagkakaroon po ng arrhythmia such as premature ventricular contractions. We have prolonged QT and torsades de points. So, ano tong torsades de point? Okay. That's actually torsades de poids. So, ito po, it's a potential po siya na parang problem po siya sa ating ECG na nagkakaroon ng twisting sa kanyang ECG baseline. So, pag po nangyari to, this may lead to ventricular fibrillation, thus lead to cardiac arrest or cardiac death. So, pag po na ganito na siya, meaning severe na po yung kanyang hypomagnesemia. And then we have CNS symptoms such as confusion, depression, and your agitation. And for your GI, nausea, vomiting, and orexia. So we have here the level of severity. So 1.2 to 1.5, nasa mild po siya. So mga signs and symptoms niya, may slight tremors and occasional po na PVC. So as early as mild, nagkakaroon po ng premature ventricular contractions yung ating patient. So very, very careful po talaga tayo na na-check po natin every now and then yung ECG readings or changes ng ating patient, no? So we have 1 to 1.2 moderate. So dito na po nagkakaroon ng tetany, hyperreflexia, and eto na po, mas marami na po yung lumalabas ng mga arrhythmias ng ating patient. And pag less than 1 na po siya, very severe na po ito, which may lead to seizures, dangerous dysrhythmias, respiratory muscle weakness. And pag nagkaroon po ng very severe na po na decline na po talaga, sobrang bumaba na po, this may lead to cardiac arrest. Now, what are the medical management ng ating hypomagnesemia? So, pag mild po, syempre oral magnesium oxide, about 400 to 800 mg per day. Pag naman po moderate to severe, dito na po na tayo nagsastart magbigay ng IV, no? Magnesium sulfate IV or yung MAGSO. So, typically, about 1 to 2 grams of magnesium sulfate and 100 ml NS over 1 hour. So, pwede po yan. So, dinidilute natin siya with a normal saline solution. And if severe na po, maabot po ng 4 to 8 grams over 12 to 24 hours with cardiac monitoring. Actually, this magnesium sulfate, this is also used to treat increased blood pressure during pregnancy. So, pag masyado pong mataas yung ating BP ng mga pregnant woman natin, especially pag magde-deliver na po sila, kasi usually masyadong mataas talaga yung BP ng mga pregnant, nagsastart po sila by pagpasok nila ng 3rd trimester hanggang sa mga anak sila. So, pag ganon, ito yung mga binibigay nating medications na nakakatulong po sa pagbaba ng ating blood pressure. So, in emergency, such as pag nagkaroon na po ng torsades de poids, so we push. So, instead of diluting it with a NS, so pwede tayong mag-push, no? We have at least 1 to 2 grams IV push over 15 minutes. So, another din is treat underlying cause. So, again, if ang problem is GI losses, renal losses, may shifting, malnutrition, so yan po muna yung i-treat natin. Kasi nga, paulit-ulit natin sinasabi that these electrolyte imbalances cannot happen alone. So, it is secondary or kumbaga, it's a result or a complication of a certain disorder or cause, no? So, stop diuretics if possible, manage diarrhea or GI losses, and correct hypocalcemia and hypokalemia. Kasi, this makes, pag po nagkaroon din po siya ng hypomagnesemia, mas mahihirapan po tayong correct, okay? So, and also, dietary increase. So, sa mga mild na mga cases, pwede tayong mag-encourage or mag-instruct sa patient na increase yung magnesium intake, no? So, such as yung mga foods natin na nuts, almonds, peanuts, green leafy vegetables, legumes, whole grains, and dark chocolate. So, pwede natin silang encourage na i-increase yung intake ng ganitong mga foods that are rich in magnesium. Okay? So, what are the different nursing management na pwede natin gawin? So, syempre, again, monitor intake and output, especially po if ang causes po niya is mga losses, either renal losses or GI losses, you have to monitor that one. Assess for neuromuscular status, watch for arrhythmias, kasi nga, sabi natin, as early as mild level po, nagkakaroon na po ng premature ventricular contractions yung patient. So, you have to check talaga yung ECG changes ng ating patient. Check deep tendon reflexes and monitor vital signs, especially your RR. Why po? Kasi sabi nga natin, this may lead to yung nag-weak yung ating respiratory muscles, no? So, we have interventions, administer magnesium sulfate as ordered. Again, if mild po, mostly oral. Pag naman po moderate to severe, IV na po siya. So again, typically nasa 1 to 2 grams or pwede pong umabot ng 3 to 4 grams depending, and it should be diluted in NSS. However, pag po emergency cases, kailangan na po natin mag-push na po siya. So 1 to 2 grams lang po yung allowed na IV push. So again, use infusion pump para po makasigurado tayo na hindi po lagpas yung ibibigay natin. And then monitor blood pressure, respiration, and ECG. Observe for any signs of magnesium toxicity, which is bababa yung kanyang respiration, mas bababa yung kanyang deep tendon reflexes. Kasi sabi nga natin dito, hyper-reflex siya. Pero pag bumaba po, let's say hypo-reflex siya or decreased deep tendon reflexes, that means that the patient has now magnesium toxicity and bradycardia. So another is safety measures, which include seizure precaution and fall risk measurements measures kasi nga yung ating patient pwede po maka-experience ng seizure. Monitor lab values, which includes your magnesium, potassium, and calcium. Kasi po both yung tatlong yan, sabay-sabay po yan na mangyari sa patient, mas mahirapan po tayong i-treat yung patient. And educate patient to avoid alcohol, encourage magnesium-rich foods, and adherence to medication. So these are the mnemonics or memory aids that you can use, no, para po sa ating, para mas ma-memorize natin yung mga causes ng ating hypomagnesemia. So we have low mag, limited intake of magnesium, such as my starvation. Other electrolyte issues kasi meron pong hypokalemia and hypocalcemia. Wasting magnesium via kidneys, pag nag-use po tayo ng loop and thiazide diuretics or cyclosporine. Malabsorption issues such as Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, celiac diseases, or pag nagtatake po ng mga prazole drugs such as omeprazole, sorry. So, yun yung mga common, no? Mga antacids na mga medications natin. And if nagkakaroon po ng diarrhea and vomiting. So, A for alcohol, which stimulates kidney, excretion of magnesium. And glycemic issues if nag-undergo po ng insulin therapy, such as meron pong diabetic ketoacidosis or insulin administration. For the signs and symptoms, do not forget the word twitching. T stands for Trousseau signs. W, which means weak respiration. I, irritability. T, torsades de poids, tetany or seizures. C, cardiac changes or chuvastic sign. H, hypertension and hyperreflexia. I, involuntary movements and nausea. And G, GI issues or decreased bowel sounds and motility. Okay? So, I hope naiintindihan po yung ating hypomagnesemia. Again po, this electrolyte imbalance, may pagka-same po sila ng hypocalcemia. And pag po yung patient din natin nagkaroon po ng hypokalemia, you have to monitor also the magnesium kasi pwede pong mag-lead din po yung ating hypokalemia na sabay din pong mangyari na nagkaroon ng hypomagnesemia. So now let's proceed naman sa ating hypermagnesemia. Pag mataas naman po yung magnesium level. So hypermagnesemia or high magnesium. So definition po, if the serum magnesium is umabot po ng 2.5 milliequivalent per liter. So sa the severe level of your magnesium is 4 milliequivalent per liter. So what are the common causes po ng ating hypermagnesemia? So we have renal failure. Most common po to sa lahat po ng causes ng ating hypermagnesemia. Another is excess magnesium intake. If nagtitake po ng mga antacids which contains magnesium and laxative or yung tinatawag nating milk of magnesia. And then treatment of eclampsia, sabi ko nga sa inyo, magnesium sulfate is used to treat hypertension during pregnancy or what we call eclampsia. So pag po nasobrahan, pwede pong mag-lead sa hypermagnesemia. And adrenal insufficiency, and if meron pong tumor lysis or rhabdomyolysis. So what are the clinical manifestations of patient with hypermagnesemia? So pag mild po, pag nasa 2.5 to 4 ang kanyang magnesium level, nagkakaroon po ng flushing, nagkakaroon ng warmth, nausea, and lethargy. Pag naman po moderate, nagkakaroon na po ng hyporeflexia, drowsiness, hypotension, and bradycardia. And pag severe na po, which is more than 7 milliequivalent per liter, dito na po nawawala yung deep tendon reflexes ng ating patient. Nagkakaroon po ng muscle paralysis, respiratory depression, prolonged PRM, widened QRS complexes, or complete heart block, or pag umabot po ng 10 milliequivalent per liter, nagkakaroon na po ng cardiac arrest yung patient. Kaya nga po, na-mention during our discussion on hypomagnesemia that we have to closely monitor or use infusion pump when giving your magnesium sulfate kasi po this may lead to magnesium toxicity. Now, pag po nasobrahan yung pagbigay natin ng magnesium na umabot po yung blood serum serum magnesium ng ating patient na 10 milliequivalent per liter, baka po mag-cause na po siya ng cardiac arrest sa ating pasyente. So again, these are the level of severity: 2.5 to 4 pag mild, 4 to 7 moderate, pag 7 to 10 severe, pag more than 10 that is critical. So mga manifestations natin pag mild is nausea and vomiting and nagkakaroon ng flushing or pamumula ng kanyang katawan. Moderate naman pag nagkakaroon na po ng bradycardia, hypotension, and decreased deep tendon reflexes. Pag severe naman, nagkakaroon na po ng paralysis and respiratory depression. And if critical na po, this may lead to cardiac arrest. And syempre, pag mag-lead sa cardiac arrest, pwede na pong mag-cause ng death ng ating patient. So what are the medical management? So stop all magnesium sources. If nagte-take po ng magnesium sulfate yung ating patient, stop muna natin. Avoid magnesium containing antacids or laxative. Let's say yung mga patient natin nagte-take ng mga laxative kasi constipated or nahihirapang tumae. So nagte-take sila ng mga laxatives na meron pong magnesium, so stop po natin yan. Promote excretion by giving IV normal saline or isotonic solution para ma-promote natin yung diuresis. And then loop diuretics such as furosemide if renal function is intact. However, very kwanto if ang renal function is intact. Pag po ang problem ng hypermagnesemia is not due to renal failure, then we can give loop diuretics or we can promote excretion. Pag hindi naman po, pag hindi po intact yung ating renal function, then we cannot use this one. Kasi this may lead this may give further problems sa ating patient, no? Antidote. Pag sobra na po, nasa critical level na po, so ano po yung antidote natin? Bibigyan po natin siya ng IV calcium or yung ating calcium gluconate 10%. 1 gram IV over 3 minutes. Bakit po? This antagonizes or kukaan niya yung effect ng ating magnesium sa heart and muscle. So, nasa-stabilize niya yung kanyang effect, no, sa ating muscles and heart contraction. And pag po problem is renal failure, pwede po tayo nang gusto natin mas mabilisan na paglabas or pag-excrete ng ating magnesium is dialysis. So again, this is indicated for renal failure patients. If umabot na po yung kanilang magnesium level to more than 8 milliequivalent per liter at nagkakaroon na po ng life-threatening symptoms, so agad-agad po tayo talagang i-rush yung ating patient with dialysis. So, kailangan po talaga nating i-monitor yung ating patient with intake and output po nila, especially po yung mga patient natin na kaya po nagkaroon ng hypermagnesemia is because of renal failure. So, what are your nursing management? For for assessment, monitor DTR, respiratory rate and the depth, and then we have the BP, the heart rate, urinary output, and syempre, ECG monitoring. So, interventions, so administer calcium gluconate as ordered para po mawala yung effect ng ating magnesium, ma-stabilize yung ating heart or ECG changes. Maintain airway, so prepare for ventilatory support if yung RR po niya is less than 12. Diba, sa ang normal is 12 to 20. So, pag less than lang, let's say, nag-10 na, agad-agad tayong mag-support for ventilatory. So, oxygen therapy, no? Pag naman po nagkaroon ng obstruction na sa airway, baka nagkaroon na po tayo ng intubation. Promote diuresis, monitor labs frequently, which includes, again, the same po, magnesium, potassium, and calcium. Kasi pwede pong magkasabay-sabay siya. And syempre, creatinine to check the function of renal. Okay, or kidneys. Patient safety, avoid sedatives or depressant medications. Kasi pag pumawalan ng consciousness yung patient, baka agad-agad na mas bababa yung kanyang or magiging severe yung kanyang case. And then educate patient to avoid taking mga over-the-counter drugs na mga laxative which may contain magnesium, no? Educate kidney disease patients on magnesium risks. Lalo na kung example lang natin, nagkaroon na po ng acute renal failure or first stage pa lang sila ng renal failure nila, so pwede na po tayong mag-educate, no? Na baka magkaroon po sila ng mga risk of having hypermagnesemia. So we have here the mnemonics for your hypermagnesemia. Do not forget the mag, no? So magnesium containing antacids and laxatives, Addison's disease due to adrenal insufficiency, and glomerular filtration insufficiency if umabot na po ng 30 ml per minute. So again, hypermagnesemia is less common than hypomagnesemia. So, less common po siya. Typically occurring when treating hypomagnesemia with magnesium sulfate IV solution. So, if i-compare natin yung dalawang magnesium imbalance, mas common pong nangyayari yung hypomagnesemia. Mostly po nangyayari yung hypermagnesemia pag po nasobrahan yung pagbigay natin ng IV infusion of magnesium sulfate. Now, for these signs and symptoms, do not forget the word lethargic. Again, occurs lang siya pag po sa severe. Kasi pag mild po is usually asymptomatic po sila. So, L, lethargy, E, EKG or ECG changes such as prolonged PR and QR interval and widened QRX complex. Tendon reflexes absent or grossly diminished. We have hypotension, arrhythmias, which includes complete heart blocks or bradycardia, respiratory arrest, GI issues such as nausea and vomiting, impaired breathing due to skeletal weakness, and lastly, for your cardiac arrest. So, I think that's all for magnesium imbalances. Again, nangyayari po, most common yung hypomagnesemia compare sa hypermagnesemia. Kaya nga po, but the most common reason, no, other than renal failure ng ating hypermagnesemia, if po nasobrahan yung pag-treat natin ng eclampsia ng patient natin with magnesium sulfate na nag-lead sa magnesium toxicity. So, I hope naintindihan. Okay, so if ever may mga questions, you can raise your questions during our face-to-face classes. So again, thank you for watching and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.